Welcome into DC On Screen episode 259. I am your host, David C. Robertson. This, my co-host, Jason Goss.
Hello.
And right now, we are going to get super spoilery on Supergirl 2x06, changing. To recap, Kara gets a little slizzered, but she talks Mon-el into doing some superhero training with her. Mon-el has found a job, but it's in collections, the breaking kneecaps kind. So Kara isn't super in love with this career. James is eager to hit the streets and kick some meta butt, but Winn refuses to be rushed and demands James stay on the bench until his new suit is absolutely ready. However, when Supergirl and Marvin the Martian, what the hell? I saw the word Martian. And I said, Marvin the Martian. Martian is the only thing written here.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Where's my space modulator? However, when Supergirl and Martian Manhunter both get the life sucked out of them, it creates Parasite, forcing Winn and James to hurry their timetable for the debut. What is wrong with me? Debut of the Guardian. Which it was already a parasite before it sucked Supergirl and Marvin the Martian dry.
Yeah.
Anyway. Guardian arrives on scene where he finds Mon-el trying and kind of failing to hero it up. Finally, Supergirl shows up with some radioactive elements to overcharge Parasite, and the day is saved. Meanwhile, Alex comes out to Kara, who is a little dazed, but is ultimately supportive. Alex also takes a swing with Maggie and gets super shot down.
Felt real bad for her. That was brutal.
That was rough, man. That was rough.
I
knew it was coming.
Yeah, there's no way they were gonna. I'm a little sad too. I like them together, but
I think they'll eventually get together, but
they might. But she didn't even just tell her like, "Oh, I'm just in a weird space right now." Maybe she didn't make it sound like, give me a couple months. Or she made it sound like, no, you need to go like date some people for a few years. We'll hang out later, maybe see how it goes. It was a serious shutdown.
Yeah, and but the way it wasn't a hey, I don't like you. It was totally a I've seen this happen before and it doesn't work out well. This is the first time you're getting into this.
Yeah. I'm not saying Maggie probably didn't have a point.
But
it was brutal.
It was brutal, and the way they left it open was she's going to have to go back to Alex and be like, by the way, I didn't shut you down because of this. I shut you down because I'm scared.
Oh, they could totally do that. They could absolutely do that.
I mean, Maggie just got broken up with, so...
Or they just come back and say, well, look, I do really like you, like, especially as a friend. I don't want to ruin that in any way, shape, or form. Let's take this slow. They can completely do that.
Yeah.
But
here's the thing. In television, they have to stretch stuff out. So
yeah, we got a whole season to get through before we can
in television, when someone gets rejected, the other person, without explanation, just runs away. And then the other person is like, no, don't leave. Let's have drinks or something. Mm-hmm. Even though they should be like, hey, no, wait, come here. And then the other person stop and be like, hey, I'm just scared because I just got broken up with. Can you, give me a minute? And then, the situation would have been resolved that night. They can't do that on television. Mm-hmm. So that's what we have to deal with is just things that should have taken something that should have taken about 5 minutes to resolve winds up getting stretched out over 3 years.
Yeah.
And I don't dig that.
Yeah.
What I do dig, Kara drunk. That was fun.
Fantastic. I'm not flying, that's for sure. Just great. I kind of wish she had flown. There would be probably casualties. But it would be funny before that.
That would have been. Okay, so I started out almost really annoyed in this episode because of how heavy-handed this Rudy Jones was with the climate change stuff.
Right.
And then they basically made it to where, he's a bad guy villain, but, everybody, all of his fellow scientists are like, dude, one day it's not going to change anything. Calm the hell down. It was just his obsession.
It was kind of weird. He ends up being the bad guy.
Yeah.
But it was weird. They were making him the climate change activist before, and then they made the climate change activist the bad guy, which is, I don't know that I've ever seen that particular turn. Oh, by the way,
it was just real weird to me.
I kind of shrugged a little bit when Parasite's apparently just actually a parasite.
Uh-huh.
There were two things about that. One, I actually liked the development. I mean, if we're going to make him a tiny little slug creature that turns into a giant radioactive monster, let's just do this thing. And they did it. But, I mean, climbing in the ear, out of the mouth thing was just... right?
I was like, son of a bitch, they went Stranger Things on me.
Yeah.
They went Stranger Things on me.
I didn't want to see that. I don't want to see that. But I did, here's the thing. When we got to Parasite full form, I mean, I loved having our big old purple Parasite, right? I thought he looked great.
Right.
When he's standing still. Like, if you'd shown me a screenshot of this guy, I would have been super excited about this episode. But then, like, he starts fighting Guardian, and he just looks silly. Just looks silly.
He does.
Which is not Guardian's fault. Guardian looked pretty great.
Yeah, I'll always not understand when they choose to make... I mean, you go listen to our Man of Steel review. I will never understand why they changed blue to gray.
Yeah.
I would have been way happier if Guardian was blue and gold, like he was in the comics. Sure. I know he was not James Olsen in the comics.
You'll be okay, though.
That being said, I like those colors. Don't we have enough gray? Don't we have enough gray in this world? Anyway.
Yeah, I know.
He was fun. Like the little voice modulator, though.
Was good, yeah. And just his little jabs about, how do you put it? Ooh, I wrote it down somewhere, but, oh, yeah. She, cocks her head at him like, lead, really, kind of thing. And says he couldn't make it too easy on her. Who are you? A friend. And they talk about it afterward. Like, they know she's eventually going to figure it out, but they just kind of want to get their feet under him real quick.
Right.
I did like that the show went back and gave me a scene where Winn and James are perfectly aware that she's going to figure this out at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man. I don't get the let's not tell this oh, come on, man.
This is exactly the kind of instance where I'll deal with that. When you tell me why you're doing it and you put a time limit on it. We just want to get our feet under it, and we're doing it because we need to be able to do this unobstructed without her telling us not to do it all the time. I can deal with that all day. If it's like, no, she wouldn't understand, then I'd be pissed.
I mean, yeah,
I like that. She doesn't know what it is to be vulnerable.
That's fair. I don't know. I'm still just bored with it. Like, I don't want to see it. Like, I know. I got it.
Yeah.
Like, she can make us stop. Yeah, that's true. She could.
Yeah.
You're right on that. But I still don't want to deal with this, like, keeping it from her for several episodes. It just bores me, man.
I don't think it'll be several. Well, technically several, maybe. I really do think we'll have this, like, him and her on the same page before mid-season. That's my bet.
Okay. Fingers crossed.
No promises.
Looks like they're going to, I don't know. Anyway, looks like they'll probably get into it next episode, honestly.
A little bit, yeah. It's kind of the darkest timeline going on next week.
Yeah. What's it called? The Darker Places? Something like that?
The Darkest Places, I want to say.
Yeah. Okay. The Darkest Timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fun. So, blah, blah. Dude, when Winn putting the smackdown on James, like, no.
Yeah.
No. You are not my boss. Like, oh, shit.
I loved that.
Yeah.
I mean, it just looks at him incredulously. Like, I'm sorry, you don't. I don't answer to you. I really.
That was good.
I've really been a fan of Winn this for the entire series run, but that was one of his high points. Because he really does. He's a brave little bastard.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes little dogs gotta bark,
right? Rough. He does
psychologically. They're usually psychologically speaking, they're usually the ones that bark the most.
Right.
But anyway,
yeah.
So love the Alex and Kara scenes.
Yeah, they're pretty great.
It's all good, all great. Like,
early on, I thought it was a little slow on the draw for someone as optimistic as Supergirl. Just like she's just so damn supportive about everything, and then she kind of balked at coming out, and it's not really in character completely. But it just seemed like, by the time the episode was over, she was just kind of confused for a few minutes, and then goes right back into her old habits of being supportive.
Yeah, which I wasn't completely on board with how they had her quote unquote balk at it, because it didn't feel like she was doing that. Like, she would just kind of like start a sentence, and Alex was like, "And don't say it's this." She's like, "Well, I wasn't, but okay."
I wasn't going to say
that. It seemed like Alex was sort of being really defensive.
Even I'll describe it as
just
balking,
understandable.
But it was really just kind of, she had a surprised look on her face for most of that conversation.
Yeah, which is it's going to be a hard line to toe, because they don't want to actually make her intolerant in any real way.
No, it seemed like they just gave her a beat where she's a little taken back.
Yeah.
Which is about,
but
I
then
think,
they tried
as
to,
far as you can really go. I mean...
But then they tried to, like, turn that around and turn it into, like, an insensitivity. Like, I was being insensitive. Like, you kind of weren't, though, because you're just confused as hell.
Well, there was something else. Yeah, there was something else going on, though, I think, in that scene. Even in her, like, look of surprise and a little bit of taken abackery. She says it later, like, when they go have a sit-down at Kara's apartment. She says, like, all those years talking, it's always been about me and my secret. And she makes the case that, like, this is my fault that I didn't create an environment where you could come to me with this because it's always been about me. So, like, she didn't have room for Alex's feelings. And even in the scene when you think back to the park, you can almost hear her realizing what she's done to her sister over these years. Mm-hmm. So part of the balking was her, like, immediately trying to take some of the responsibility for what Alex is going through on her. That is very Supergirl.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You know, they could have gone a very wrong way with that. Like, all these years I've been talking about me and my secret. You had to create a secret so you could feel special.
And the show would have been immediately canceled.
Not immediately, probably.
Maybe a few weeks, but, you know, pretty quick. They'd have gotten it through the crossover. That's about it.
You know what? They should have. They should have done that, but then it turns out, like, Kara's got red kryptonite.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Yeah, go ahead and pull up, like, my least favorite Smallville episodes and make them part of this canon.
That's interesting. We can't get into that.
No, we'll talk. But
yeah, ooh,
yeah. It did culminate in a great line. The "I'll go get the alien, you go get the girl" kind of thing. And
yeah.
Oh, by the way, when she does go get the alien, and her and the Martian get drained, man, like sick Kara, they did a great job on her makeup. And John's, like, they both look really creepy.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really makeup, I know, but whatever prop piece they used to make it looked fantastic.
Now, what bothers me is that as soon as he's better, John becomes like a human again.
Yeah, that was weird. I was like, why are you snapping back into that? You don't have to do that here. You know that, right?
Like, you're... Okay.
Yeah, sure. And, you know, his arm's twitching. What's your bet? Is he going to turn White Martian somehow? Or is it poisonous to have White Martian blood in your veins? Is he...
I would think if it was poisonous, What's-Her-Face wouldn't have done it.
Well, she said he really wouldn't appreciate it. And I thought that was going to be just from, like, a moral standpoint. But with the hand twitching, you got to wonder if it's like, no, I mean, he won't die right now, but he will die pretty soon after I do this.
I don't know.
It's really just buys him time.
I really don't know. I don't know.
Just saying, all that's on the table. Dude, how much are you going to love the James and Winn, like, out there on the streets thing? Because I'm already in love with it.
Mm-hmm. That's already a fun thing. I love the Star Spangled van.
Yeah.
With the Star Spangled Comics logo on it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Winn yelling, "Take that, Grimace."
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
I mean, he is going to be just so much fun to listen to from that van.
Oh, man, and James, I've been ready to do this since I found out Clark Kent is Superman.
Uh-huh.
Like, damn, dude. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And Winn's like, well, that's not a bad answer. Like, yeah, okay.
Well, the challenge is full stop. You do this, you are someone else.
Kara, this is Brian. Brian has a bad habit of not paying his debts properly.
Oh, loved that.
Kara's anger at Mon-el. Kara's anger at Mon-el is just ridiculous. Like, dude, he doesn't have to be a hero. Stop preaching him to be a hero.
Oh, she's figured it out finally.
Let him just be a dude.
This was the episode where Kara learns that everything's a little different than she thought. Then she came to terms with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's literally labeled changing, right? I think that's...
Oh, yeah.
Now,
it was.
The line I love more was like, if the bookie wants to pay me to improve his habits, you know, I mean, who's getting hurt here, really? And then the way she just dismisses him, Brian, go. Yeah. Okay.
So, at the end of the episode, Cadmus grabs Mon-el and throws him in that van.
Eye roll.
Yeah.
Absolute eye roll.
Absolute. And Mama Luthor, after he's already in the van, looks out the window and into the little rearview mirror and goes, "Welcome to Cadmus." Who the hell is she talking to? Mon-el's in the van. Mon-el is in the van.
That was a weird one.
It was bad. That was bad. So, yeah, excited for most of the things to come that I know of. I don't know what... I think, based on the promo, this is what's going to happen. It's not going to be that Jean is dying. It's going to be that he's going to start having, like, some sort of inner darkness or inner rage because he's now part White Martian. In the promo, he's like kicking the shit out of Kara.
Yeah.
And fighting her. So I think that's where they're going to be heading with that. But it looks like we're getting all up in Cadmus's guts this next episode.
So is Guardian.
And it looks like Guardian. Yeah, and Guardian. And it looks like Guardian's going to be running from the law.
Yeah, I saw that. It seemed like it's going to be one of those, hey, what's the worst thing you could imagine kind of episodes.
But I think it's going to be absolutely, like, I don't think it's going to be like, over the edge or whatever. It's going to be like, it's going to be an in canon.
Oh, it'll be in canon. Yeah. They could pull that on us, but I don't think they will.
Yeah. Good episode for the most part. Parasite did look like shit when he was fighting.
That's all I've got really against the episode is Parasite looked like shit when he was fighting. Guardian just looked silly, like ha, foo, fla, fla, foo, foo. Just it looked like when you're a kid and you're like swinging a stick around the yard fighting stuff.
Yeah. That, and I was somewhat surprised that, all of Rudy Jones's colleagues were just like, dude, get over it. That just cracked me the hell up for some reason or another. Anyway, we are DC On Screen. You can find every episode at DCOnScreen.com. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. We're proud members of the Giant Size Team Up Network, GiantSizeTeamUp.com. Coming up next, we're going to be talking about The Flash, our favorite show of anything we watch. Flash 306, Shade. Until next time, guys, keep some DC on your screen. Can't believe you don't like the Red Kryptonite episodes.
I hate them. I really I got Red Kryptonite now, so I'm going to go do like stupid stuff. That happens to be exactly what the plot needs me to do in this season right now.
Oh, man.